Journey to the City of the King. An adaptation of John Bunyan's Pilgrim's Progress. Part 1. Escape from the City of Destruction. Entertainers, circus and storytellers would often come to the city. But this storyteller was different. His stories were different too. His name was Evangelist. He would stand in the city square and speak from a book. He warned the people listening to him that something terrible was going to happen. This city was called the City of Destruction. He told about another city as well, a city far away called the Beautiful City. It was the city of the great king himself. He pleaded with everyone to run as quickly as possible to the beautiful city and leave the City of Destruction before it was too late. "Go," he said. "Run for your lives to the City of Safety, to the beautiful city. Follow the king's road as quickly as you can." Most of the people laughed at Evangelist. "Run, run? We want fun, fun. We're going to have it in our city, even if it is called Destruction," they said. But one man listened to Evangelist. He couldn't think of anything else. He just sat under a tree all day crying. He couldn't help it. He just felt so sad, so scared, so fed up with himself. Now Evangelist had given him a book. The more this man read from the book, the more frightened he became. He'd shown the book to his family and friends, but they just laughed. "That book was written hundreds of years ago. It's no use now," they said. "There's no destruction coming. It'll all be all right in the end. Just enjoy yourself while you can." But he couldn't. He just couldn't. Reading the book had a strange effect on him. The more he read, the more he felt like crying, and it was like a great weight on his back. The more he tried to forget what Evangelist said, the heavier the weight became. The heavier it grew, the less he felt like laughing or eating or playing football like he usually did. Now, while he was sitting under a tree, Evangelist came to him. "What's up with you?" said Evangelist. "Why are you carrying that great weight on your back?" "The book you gave me says I'm condemned to die." "Why are you worried about dying?" said Evangelist. "Because, well, I'm afraid that the weight on my back will sink me lower than the grave." "Then why do you stand here?" asked Evangelist. "Because I don't know where to go." "Look," said Evangelist, pointing across the field. "Do you see that gate?" But the man couldn't see it, for his eyes were full of tears. "Well, do you see the light shining above it?" "I think I can." "Well, run, for the beautiful city is just through that gate. Keep your eyes on the light and everything will be all right. When you get to the gate, knock, and you'll be told what to do." So as fast as he could, he began to run. But he wasn't very fast because the weight on his back slowed him down. Now he'd not gone far when his wife and children spotted him and called out to him, "Come back! Come back! Where are you going?" But he put his fingers in his ears and cried out, "Run! I must run! Life! Eternal life!" Well, it wasn't long before some of his neighbours came out to see what was happening, and when they saw him with a great weight on his back and his fingers in his ears, they laughed, and some jeered, "Oh, he's gone mad!" Two of his closest neighbours volunteered to go after him. They were Mr. Stubborn and Mr. Putty. Mr. Stubborn was not a very nice person. In fact, he liked his own way. Mr. Stubborn was a large man. He had thick arms, thick legs, thick body, and an especially thick head. He always had his own ideas about everything and anything, and he would not listen to anyone else's ideas. He always said, "I won't." Mr. Putty would go along with anyone. Everything seemed a good idea to him. That's why he went along with Mr. Stubborn. He was always willing to start something new. Like a rubber band, he would pull in one direction and then snap back again when he got stretched too far. Well, Mr. Putty and Mr. Stubborn marched along rather angrily from the city towards their neighbour in order to bring him back. Mr. Stubborn appeared to get more stubborn and more angry with every step. "I won't, I won't, I won't," he seemed to mutter to himself as he marched along. Mr. Putty just followed along. "Where do you think you're going?" asked Mr. Stubborn when they finally caught up with their neighbour. "I'm going to the beautiful city, the city of the king. Won't you come along with me?" And what do you think Mr. Stubborn said? "I won't, because there isn't such a place." "Well, it says in this book that there is. Have a look." "I won't. I know all about that book. It's rubbish." "But if you don't leave the city, you will be destroyed." "I won't leave the city, believe me. I know it's going to be all right. It's always been all right, hasn't it? I'm as happy as I can be, and I won't change for you, and I won't change for nobody else. And I don't need you to tell me anything, because I know. Now, won't you come back with us?" The man said, "No, I can't." "Well, what if the book is true?" said Mr. Putty, and he felt quite pulled in the direction of the beautiful city. And anyway," he thought to himself, "I've come this far, might as well go on." "Yes, do come, we'll travel together," said the man. "You stupid fool! Fancy listening to him instead of me," said Mr. Stubborn. For a moment, Mr. Putty stood between the two of them. It was like he was being stretched in both ways at once. But then he made a snap decision. I'll go on." And at that, Mr. Stubborn stamped his foot and said, "I won't," and stormed off back to the city of destruction, sickened at the weakness of those two fools, but pleased with his own strength and wisdom. Mr. Putty and his neighbour started to talk as they went along. "Is it really beautiful, this beautiful city we're going to?" "Oh, yes, it's really beautiful. The king lives there, and he's altogether good." "Well," said Putty, "let's speed things up a bit and walk a bit faster. We're going so slowly. If it's that beautiful, I want to get there quick." "I can't walk any faster," said the man, "because of all this weight on my back." As they were walking, they felt the ground beneath their feet getting softer and softer until they found themselves in a marsh. It was Misery Marsh, and that was the name of it. "Where are we now?" cried Miss Putty, almost with the anger of Mr. Stubborn. "I don't know," said the man, who, because of the weight upon his back, had sunk much deeper into Misery Marsh. "See what a mess we're in," shouted Putty, "and it's all your fault. I wish I'd never come with you. If we get this at the beginning of our journey, who knows what's to come? Just let me get out of this Misery Marsh, and I'm going straight home, where I won't feel so miserable. You can keep your beautiful city." The man did not answer, for he was too frightened and unhappy to speak. In fact, he thought he was going to drown. He felt really miserable. Well, you would, if you were in Misery Marsh. Meanwhile, Mr. Putty had turned back towards the city of destruction and managed to pull himself out of Misery Marsh. The beautiful city meant so little to Mr. Putty that the first problem he turned back. "I must go on," said the man. But I can't. I'm stuck. I'm sinking. Oh, if somebody would help me, for I can't get out on my own. Hello, what are you doing? Said a bright and happy voice. Do you need any help? I'm from Promise, a division of the King's Rescue Team. We specialise in helping people. That's why my name is Help. Whenever I hear the word help, I can't help but go, said Help. I love it. Don't worry, I'll get you out of there in a jiffy, he said, with a great big smile on his face. And before the man knew it, Help had pulled him out and was cleaning him all up. I love it,